And I think that was one of the biggest lessons. Like your business will only grow as much as you are growing interpersonally.
So
And that was a lesson that took me, I want to say a long time to figure out, but I figured it out when I was 25.
Oh yeah.
From 21 to 25, we're just hanging around with a bunch.
Hello, you're listening to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, presented by Brandon Elliott. This show will be going over all aspects of real estate investing and is intended to educate, motivate, and prepare you to take action on your first or next real estate investment. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Thank you for listening and enjoy.
Welcome back, everyone, to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. I am your host, Mr. Brandon Elliott. We got two legends in the game right here. We got Leo and Brianna. What's up, guys? How we doing?
What's going on?
How's it going?
Good. You guys are over in Boston area. We met a few years ago now in another mastermind, which was really cool, boardroom with Kent Clothier. And you guys stood out to me a lot in many ways. You guys went from the corporate background, real estate arena, but still very corporate, right? And so went from the architect side on Brianna's side. And then Leo, you were in the financial side,
right?
Correct? And so somehow you guys got together, you guys found this real estate thing, went all in on it, which I love. And now you guys are doing some crazy numbers. Last year, it was like 44 deals or so?
Deals, yeah.
Okay. And so mostly wholesaling. Last year, you were doing some fix and flips too. You killed that business and you're like, enough is enough. I'm tired of this nonsense. That's not working, right? And then you decided, hey, let's focus on the things that we're more passionate about that is working. Let's just double down on it. So for anybody out there that doesn't know more about your story, who you guys are, where you're from, the background and everything, how you guys came together, do you mind just giving that 30,000 foot view for the listeners?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go first because we just kind of went through a recap earlier, but
cool.
High level, right? I was kind of raised in a place where my mom gave us the majority of what we needed, but not everything we wanted. So there was always that need that I wanted a little more in life. So I really looked up the top 10 most paying careers when I was going to college. Yeah. And then for me, it was engineering, right? Computer science engineering. I went into school for engineering. I absolutely sucked at it. I'm way too social. I'm not very detail oriented. I'm a business free at my heart, right? I'm a social people's type of people. And I just was flunking out of college, man. And this was my dream for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I had a college counselor sit me down and was like, you got two decisions here. Either you transition your major or you're going to flunk out. I'm like, well, I can't flunk out, right? So at that point, I transitioned over to finance because it was the fourth most highest paying job from that list that I looked at. Got into that role, man. And from there, I just kind of was working my way to get into investment banking. I got into a tech where it was a rotational program where I had a different job every year, which allowed me to see so many different perspectives in the business, especially in terms of the finance. And I once walked into a CFO conversation and one of the 32-year-old analysts said a statement that changed kind of really my trajectory and how I saw things. Because I was like, I can't be doing this Excel thing all the time. Right. There's a part where you're like, this is mundane. And I walked into this meeting and this guy goes, damn, dude, there must be more to life than Excel. And everyone laughed. And I went, oh, shit. There's not more here.
Yeah, that's it. That's it for these guys.
It's a wrap.
Google Sheets.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
We get really funky with Google Sheets. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. This is dumb. Like, I'm finito. So at that point, I started my mind changing. I'm like, I need to get into real estate because it's something that, when we first got here as immigrants, my mom, something she preached all the time. You got to own property. You got to own property. You got to own property. And I was like, all right, let me get into this thing. And then from there on, I met Brianna and kind of the rest is history. But that was what my transition would look like when I was like, dude, I can't do this Excel thing anymore. Yeah, I just can't do it. So.
Bree, before you jump in, Leo, so you said your mom she was an immigrant somewhere else?
Yeah, so...
Tell me about that for a second.
Yeah, so I came here at the age of 11 from Puerto Rico. So...
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I came here knowing no English at all. And the best way I can explain it to people is like, if you ever taken an elective, like French as an elective, and then one day your mom was like, hey, that elective you've never taken seriously? we're gonna go to France now, and you have to socialize with that elective. You're like, I can't speak French, dude. What are you talking about? So that's what it was for me, right? My mom was like, hey, we gotta go. And from there on out, dude, she worked very odd jobs and did the best that she could to try to raise four kids on her own.
Yeah.
So college for us was very important for me growing up. It's like, hey, this is your next step, so you won't have to be doing the job labor market that's available to immigrants, right?
Yeah.
The skills, it needs to be labor jobs. You need to be working long hours. So for me, college was needed to be a step for me. That was one of the main reasons why, because I saw her working 2 jobs and it never ended.
Yeah.
So
I love that. I feel like families that come, like, you're just one step away from immigration. And so I just feel like the work ethic is just totally different. The mindset of like ownership too, it's stuff like when she's telling you guys growing up to like, hey, own something, own this real estate, get this, like you'll be in control of it. I think there's a lot of power behind that people that don't necessarily have that. It's like years ago, generations, you get more entitled to it and you don't even think about it. It's not common
it's
knowledge.
Consistent, because I feel like people that don't have the opportunity, like, it's so present that it's almost spoils you.
Yeah, it's a given.
It's a given.
Yeah.
Like I can be, I'm in America, I can go do this whenever, right?
Yeah.
But I think when you're an immigrant, you always have the time horizon. That urgency is always now.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I really felt that calling to join the boardroom was that Kent Collier saying, right, the time is now. That's been like the same for my entirety of my life.
Come on.
Like, time to go is today, right? It wasn't yesterday, it's today. And for me, that's very impactful, and it gets lost nowadays, I feel.
Yeah. I think it's also really cool, like when certain groups just coming over, they kind of just see other people within their community doing like that thing, like, Asian people, it's like nails, or like a restaurant, like a Cambodian, like a donut shops, like, you know what I'm saying? And they see other people that they know and like, oh, that guy's just like me, that this person's just like me. If they can do it, I can definitely do it. I'll just follow the same path. And it's like to other people looking outside that were like just grew up here naturally, you're like, damn, that looks hard, or like that's difficult, or whatever it is. But they're like, no, everybody does it. This is just what we do. Like, this is just, it's a path. And it's like, I love that though. I love that. It's like when you see other people doing it, then it just makes it that much more real. But the drive, I think you can't compare it. So I love that. Right. Anyway, Bree, tell me more about your upbringing and how you got here today.
Yes. So I got into real estate more from a want and less from like a need position.
Cool.
My mom like really kind of nurtured us growing up. She was a stay-at-home mom. We did a lot of like arts and crafts. I was like outside playing, doing things with my hands. I liked building. And something I really like fell into was like that arts world. And so I grew up watching HGTV. And so, my mom pushed college. Like that was something that was super important for her to be able to like get us into college. And so I knew that was part of my journey. But I knew there was some kind of like entrepreneurial spirit inside of me, and I'm not really sure where it came from because neither of my parents are in that world. Like my dad was blue collar, my mom works in an insurance company. Like it's not prevalent in my life. I remember, watching HGTV and was like, I'm going to flip houses. That's going to be my job. It's not like, a typical job you can go build your resume for and apply for. I just remember like, that's what I'm going to do. I didn't know exactly what my path was in terms of how I was going to, start flipping houses. I just knew that was my path. So I'm like 8 or 9, like drawing these like little hotel floor plans. And like, that was just where I found my passion. So I went to school for architecture, got my degree. I was never going to work in a firm. My mom thought I was nuts. I was always going to work for myself. Again, still no plan yet, right? It was just a theory. So I get my degree. I still don't have a resume to this day. I don't have LinkedIn. I don't have Indeed. I don't have any of that shit. Like, it wasn't the plan. I was like, I'm just going to figure it out. And if I don't figure it out, then I'm just going to do something that I love. Like, I did not want to go down the corporate, like, bullshit. I just couldn't feed in. I was not interested. It wasn't my vibe. So that's what I did. I graduated architecture and started saving. I was doing plans on the side for people. I was waitressing, bartending, and then I also had like a little coffee shop that I was selling my art out of. And I was just saving $2 so I could get into flipping.
I love it. And then that's how you guys met originally too, right? The art. Okay.
Yeah, he commissioned like a lion painting from me. We met in a Starbucks. I thought it was gonna be a little like art jug deal. We stayed there for like 3.5 hours and just like super connected. He was on his journey, I was on mine. Very similar journeys. We were just, simultaneously doing. So that's when we really started connecting. That's when we linked up.
It's almost like when you meet someone with the same mindset as you and the same drive, they're like, oh, I'm attracted in a different level now.
Yeah.
It's almost like a spiritual type of connection. You're like, oh, you understand me and you understand why I can't stay still. And you understand what we have to do. Like, we have to go off and do this thing now. Right?
Come on. Yeah. I love it.
Because every before, for me, at least when I was dating prior, I was like having these conversations. I'm like, oh, dude, this is so bland and so superficial. I don't want to go clubbing. I don't want to go drinking. I don't want to go do this. I don't want to go to dinner. I don't. And then I meet this literally at this point random girl for an art exchange.
Yeah.
Right. We just get our coffee orders and we sit down and just have like pleasantries. 3.5 hours later, I'm like, if you leave the Starbucks without me asking you out to dinner, I feel like a fool.
Yeah, right? Come on, Leo. Let's get it.
Let's go. I'm like, I gotta close this deal, dude. I gotta get the signature on the paper.
Man,
gotta sign the contract. I'm like, hey, dude, let's go to dinner. And she goes, yeah, so I have a one-way flight to Thailand and I'm not gonna be back, and I don't know when I'm gonna be back. And then I go, you can just say no, dude.
Yeah, like you don't need to give me some wild ass.
Yeah, dude. Why you gotta be so wild?
I actually went to Thailand. I went backpacking. I was in Southeast Asia for 6 months. I literally only came back. I was running low on money. I got offered a position in a hostel to kind of stay there and kind of set up for a while. And I made the decision of like, if I kind of make this home for a little while, I don't know if I'll end up back in the US. Like, I knew that was like a real decision. And I was like, I know that there's something at home with Leo, but also like with flipping. And I know that there's like that path for me. So I just came back to kind of see that through.
That's so cool.
Conversation, dude. If you ever talk about
it's crazy.
Yeah.
On the plane ride home, and I was like, hey, back in the same continent, back in the same zip code, like let's connect now. So that's when we started.
I love it. And then, so when did you guys jump in together into business? Because I think a lot of people out there, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, like they typically do business with their significant other. Not always, but I run into it more frequently than not. And I'm sure you guys do too. And it's just one of those situations like, some people, when they try it, they just bump heads hard and they don't know how to communicate, do life with each other and work together. It's like, how do you do it?
I mean, by experience, but I think realistically it comes down to, for me, it needs to be the basis and the lowest common denominator. And for us, the lowest common denominator is our drive to making the real estate business work.
Yeah. Come on.
Like, we both need to have that goal. That's number one. I think what I see a lot happening with couples is that you'll have a driver. Let's say the wife wants to get into the business, get into real estate, and she'll drag the other person into it. And it's not their passion or desire. So then you'll have, I don't want to use the word dud, but you have a dud in the middle of the thing. And then you have a wife driving forward, or vice versa. You have a husband driving like, hey, this is going to be life-changing for us. We're going to change the life trajectory, this, and the other. And then you don't have that person that's committed, right? And I think that's half the battle, bro.
Yeah, it's like one side of the puzzle, 50-50 here isn't all in, and they're just like, I don't want to do this.
I don't.
They're not buying into the vision.
I love you. Yeah, I'm doing it because I love you, because I believe your word, and I can get that thing, but I don't want to do this, right? I think that's half of it.
For sure. Yeah, we were both on the journey, and we just happened to meet up at that time. So I was like, you know what, like we could do this together and do this a lot faster. 100%. And I think that's the key. We also, when we first started, like, we were both so passionate about the business. We really put that first, like, even we were working together, and, we had this relationship that was booming in the background, but it was all about the business. And I wanted this as much as he did, that there was a moment of, okay, if we date, it doesn't go well. then what happens to the business, right?
Yeah.
So we took it very slow, and we were very caring about the relationship. And by the time we were like officially dating, we were madly in love, and probably was like 3 years into our relationship. But like the business was our priority for a while.
100%.
Yeah. Talk to me though, like when you guys want to kill the other person, how does that work out? Like when you guys are like doing the 9 to 5 temporarily, like for work, and you're like, hey, if you say something different to me one more time, I'm gonna kill you, So, and then you realize like, oh, we sleep in the same bed tonight. How's this gonna work out?
So for us, it's like, there's that constant saying in our business, like speed to lead. But for us, like speed to resolvement.
Yeah.
You cannot linger. You can't let things fester. You can't let things linger. And you
full
can't,
transparency, basically, right? Full communication.
yeah, you can't let things linger. It's like, hey, dude, let's have a quick conversation. I fuck up, my bad, right? Or vice versa. We just get things really quickly. Because if you let things linger, things become bigger than they are, and you don't even remember what you're fighting about.
Expect a bunch of employees, right? Like if we were being weird and you're doing that weird, I'm my boyfriend for the day, and that vibe, like that doesn't work, right? Like the company. So we just nip it in the butt real quickly, and we just hold each other accountable, right? We have, we're years now into it, but we have clear parameters of like, okay, we don't work from home. We have our office, and when we go home, like we're in home mode. And if the other person, has something going on, and okay, you have 5 minutes, vent it out, and then that's it. It's a cutoff, and now we're in boyfriend girlfriend mode. So just having super clear parameters and just holding each other accountable when the other person needs to be accountable.
100%. But I think really it's about the parameters of like work. Like we try to keep work at the office. Like if we have to be there until 8, we have to be there until 8. We don't bring it home. And it started to work for us really well because during COVID, dude, work just would never end.
Yeah.
And get a little fatigued. You're like, dude, like, I don't want to talk about problems right now.
Yeah.
It's 9 8, like it's 7 in the morning. I'm trying to eat breakfast with my turkey bacon, dude. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm good. Like, don't.
I'm good. Yeah, give me an hour. Just give me an hour.
Yeah. So it's a lot of that.
It took a lot of variations, but we figured out our rhythm. So
that's good. Yeah, Jen and I, she's a big firm believer. Like, hey, it's not you and me versus each other. It's us versus the problem, and so get down to the solution. But we're very big on full communication, full transparency, hear each other out. Own up to it quickly if you did, mess something up, hurt somebody's feelings, whatever. And then after that, try to keep it like work. After that 9 to 5, put it to the side and do your absolute best not to talk about work. But,
so many people that, the minute there's an issue, they start like, oh, it was your fault. And then they start fighting. And it's like, you have to resolve it and get to it. Like, why don't you just cut to that now?
Yeah. And pointing fingers is never good. Like, that's never good.
It does nothing.
And I think for people like us, when we're in couples that also run our business, our goals are always so much higher than the actual conflict.
Sure.
So almost like significant a fight, you're like, dude, we're just dragging resources in a way because we see things as a resource management thing.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, this shit's already hard enough.
Yeah.
We
don't need to waste any time here. Come on, let's go.
Let's go. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I still love you. You want to? Yeah.
Half of the things where I'm upset, I'm like, sorry, dude. I didn't eat breakfast this morning or something.
Yeah.
Man, I was a little edgy.
Yeah.
I think it's hard, right? You're making money. It's exciting. It's thrilling, but some days you have hard days where the deals don't go the way you want them to, and you're a little, it's a little. So you just have to be mindful. That's all.
Yeah. Jen and I do something that we learned from Jesse Itzler in the past. Him and his wife, Sarah Blakely, they basically, like, anytime you want to kill each other, basically, and you're just like, hey, you can't even stop to like pray on it or anything. Like, you're just like, I could kill for less. Basically, we just stop, we slow dance for like a few minutes, and within like 30 seconds, you're like kind of just laughing at it, like, oh, this is stupid, and you kind of just shake it off. But at first, like, she's dragged me into those situations before, and after a few minutes, like, you're good. You're just kind of laughing about it, and then you move on to it.
I love that.
I like that.
You have to figure out like how to laugh about it, because it's not. It's like, what's it all for? Like, this shit's so hard already that you don't make a way to like make even the really hard moments fun. Like, it's it's just not going to be worth
It's
it.
just hard.
Yeah, it's good. So talk to me. Let's talk about the real estate business now. Like, what kind of numbers you guys doing? Is it mostly all wholesaling, or just give me the rundown of what the business looks like, team members, stuff like that?
Yeah.
So we currently have 12 employees currently right now. Last year we did 44 wholesales and roughly around $32 million in volume from the agency side. So, and then prior to that, we had a mixture of just like a hodgepodge of, when you're first starting off and you're early on into your business, the speciality of things don't come in until you kind of realize that not every opportunity is a money-making opportunity, but some of them are distractions, right? They're opportunity disguised as distractions.
Yeah.
So we had the realty business, we had the wholesaling side, kind of. We had flipping, we had a construction manager, right? We had a bird thing going. We're just trying to do all these things.
Too much. Yeah.
Too much and yet making no money, which is like a combination. We talk about the power of being a couple, but also the power of having a couple is like that sense of urgency to like be able to provide, right?
Sure.
When we were in our early 20s doing this thing, it was okay that we lived in our parents' house. But then we moved in together, there was that sense of like, okay, this needs to be legitimate. This needs to be scalable. This needs to be predictable. And absolutely no way on God's blue earth that we can do 8 of these things really well. Just get on.
Nope.
Get on. And it was that realization and having to come to terms that we needed to specialize. We needed to become a marketing and sales business and literally kill everything else off.
Yeah. Come on.
And that decision was raw because we had handymen, right, on staff. We had people that we were paying for. We had a truck. We had a bunch of tools, right? We've geared out this entire business to look this way. And then we had to bring it all back and, descale it, to basically defund it and murder it, basically, and then go in another direction.
But the business all right now, and I think number one, just kind of taking a pause. So just to acknowledge all that, it's so important to look at all the numbers because the numbers don't lie. And so like you can identify all the time and energy efforts that are going in all these areas all over the place. And then what you're catching at the end of the day, if it's not fulfilling, if it's not doing what it needs to, then it's like kill off the things that are not producing and focus on the things that you enjoy that come easier, that are more fruitful. And it's like, it's a no brainer, right? You're in your lane then at that point versus getting scattered all over the place, right?
Correct.
But so like last year it was more wholesaling, or it was a lot of things. Now we're dialing it in just to wholesaling. You still have the team in place, and this is all in your backyard for Boston, correct? Okay. And then so what does the process look like? How are you guys getting leads now?
Yeah.
So our number one goal, the best way we think about it is Eclipse buys homes, and then we provide different selling solutions to that homeowner, whether we're buying their homes for cash, whether we're listing them on the market, if that's what they want to do, or it's an ovation where the opportunity presents itself. So we focus on monetization of that lead from our different marketing channels. So we market on 3 channels. We keep it super simple. We have cold callers, direct to seller marketing, and then PPLs, right? And the reason we have it really streamlined, and we spend around $35,000 a month on marketing on those 3 channels. And the reason we trimmed it down was we went to boardroom. We were marketing to 7 channels. So lightly. We were at $3,500 a channel, right? It's like, dude, you won't even make a peep.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be
reels. Yeah.
So less was more, right?
Yep.
That was the year of 2024 was like less is more, and being present in those channels and being more present was really gonna dial in. So.
And we take one channel. We feel like once we get it mastered and we work out the kinks, then that's when we incorporate the next one. So we started with cold calling. We really built out that team. There was a lot of trials. There was a lot of, different reiterations of it. We feel like now, like our cold callers are amazing. They have the training, we have the right data in place. So like that part of it, we're good, right? So that's when we moved. Okay, now we introduce PPLs. We figure out which are the PPL companies that work best for us in our market. Once we feel like we dialed that in, then we introduce mailers. So we're working on mailers now. Once we feel like that's dialed in and we have the systems in place, then we'll kind of go to the 4th one. Our biggest thing is we try to do way too much, way too quickly.
Yeah.
And we're spinning our wheels and dumping away.
Right.
Cool. I like it. What other learning curves have you guys gone through in the last couple of years?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, so many.
Write a whole manual, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything that pops out the most that it's like, dang, I wish, we didn't have to go through that huge lesson, but thank God for it because I won't make it again.
I think for me, as we kind of got into this business, I never fully realized that I'm the most important kind of cog in this entirety of the machine.
Yeah.
I didn't realize like that your personal growth is a direct indicator on your business growth.
Yeah.
Right. There was a period of time where I was just grinding it out, hitting the phones and doing everything in between. And the business was just like plateauing. Like it wasn't going to where I wanted to go. And then it wasn't until I got around the rooms like boardroom, right, where I started focusing on the podcast, what I was reading, how I was consuming information, how like having conversations with people like you, right? Having conversations with people into my room where I was like, oh, perfect example, right? It's like you were like, hey, you can fly for first class if you just figure out this credit thing.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
So I think for me personally, dude, it's like you can only grow to your limit of your imagination. And your imagination is fed by the people you surround yourself with.
Yeah, it's so good. You only know so much. You only know what you know, right? So it's like if the business is plateauing or it's just staying stagnant, you don't want that. You want to go to the next level. You got to get around next level thinkers, right? People that are constantly investing in themselves and that have already been there and done it a couple steps ahead.
That was the best thing we did.
That was the best thing we did.
Oh, yeah.
Like be around people who were like-minded, and we were in our market and we would have these problems and like no one could relate to us because we would like, not to sound cocky, we were like at the top of where we were in terms of our friends and other realtors. We were having a problem of onboarding and, systems, processes. And once we joined that, it was like, okay, these are the rooms we need to be in. Even if you're paying crazy amounts of money, like you have to be in here and you have to continuously get educated and you have to be around these people.
And I think that was one of the biggest lessons. Like your business will only grow as much as you are growing interpersonally.
So
and that was a lesson that took me, I want to say a long time to figure out, but I figured it out when I was 25. From 21 to 25, we were just hanging around with a bunch of duds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we were like the top dog, and you felt the ego, right? You felt the chest bump. You're like, yeah, I flipped 10 houses, but I'm broke as shit. And
yeah, for real.
So that was a huge one that really delayed, really retained us from hitting where we wanted to be.
Yeah, I think the biggest lesson for me would be we were trying to do way too many things.
Yeah.
Right? We had the wholesaling, we had the flipping, we had, the BRRRR method, we were doing the realtor, building out this whole buy side and this whole agency company. And we were trying to do way too many things. And you're learning, the first time you do anything, you're learning. And the second time you do it, you're still learning. And it's not until like the 15th or the 20th one where you're like, okay, I have a rhythm here, right?
Yes.
So we're relearning this and like we do it, okay. But then, okay, that knowledge, we basically do nothing with it because now we're burning a property.
Right.
Now we have to learn that beginning to end. Okay, great. We burn the property and now we're building out this buyer's agency business. So now we're building that out. And it was like the knowledge that we went through, we weren't actually doing anything with it.
Right.
And so us, like once we really were like, okay, we're going to wholesale and we're going to focus on this one thing. We're going to get really good at this one thing, even if that means leaving, some money on the table for things, right?
Right.
Like we did 44 wholesales last year. We didn't get one listing back.
Yeah.
We only wholesaled that because we were focused on the sales and the marketing and making sure that was consistent. We could close the deals and we could keep the leads and that we have consistent lead flow.
Correct.
And we we weren't chasing those, even though we knew we were leaving money, but it was the decision at the time of like, okay, I can go build out that and build out how to get the referrals and, build out that side of it. But then you're taking your eye off what is actually making you money. And then all of a sudden your knowledge is, you're on the race again of learning something else. So I think the minute we got super dialed in and super focused and we got our whole team focused in that one direction, you have 12 people rowing. It was like when we took off, like that's when things clicked for us.
I love that so much. I think so many people sleep on that and they don't realize it sooner than later. And they just start drowning before they actually can like catch up. So it's what a blessing it is for you to acknowledge that and then be able to kind of course correct everything so that you guys are on the right path. And then you cast a vision to the rest of the team. They all buy in, and now you guys are all rowing in the same direction, which is awesome. That's
100%.
huge.
Super powerful.
Yeah. So talk to me about the goals that you guys have now and the market currently in your backyard. Obviously, you can't speak on any other areas nationwide, but I'm curious, like, what are you guys feeling in your market right now? Because there's people out there, feeling like a little bit of a squeeze.
A lot of blood, yeah. So, I mean, our goal this year is to do 100 wholesales this year. We're right around 42 deals. So we're moving in the right direction. Fingers crossed, right? We're looking like we should be doing okay. But in terms of like the hyper locality of Boston, I'll be quite honest with you. So things are now sitting on the market longer than they should, right?
Yeah.
At least longer than we're accustomed to. But
Yep.
Boston is one of these very resilient markets. It's been around for a long time.
Yes.
It's got a strong labor market. So a lot of the waves of like the ups and downs of the Sun Belt don't affect us up here.
Cool.
There's a lot of overdevelopment. It's really hard to develop here to begin with. The housing stock is old and dated, right? So it does get replenished, but then the ZBA laws and the zoning laws here are like super strict. So putting up 100, 300, 400 units like down in Florida or in Texas, it's just unheard of, but it doesn't happen up here. So things are sitting longer, but they are selling, right? The good properties are selling, the decent properties are selling. But those tighter margin deals where you're like, oh, okay, if I sell this on month 4, I'm making some money. But if I sell it on month 8, maybe I'm breaking even. And on month 9, I'm losing. Right? Those deals aren't penciling anymore.
Are you guys feeling more of like that buyer's market of a lot of people? There's just more properties on the as options to the buyers.
Yeah. So one thing that we did this year is we basically opened up our marketing to the entire state west of Worcester. So we're in a lot of these other markets that aren't as strong as like central Boston. So I think once we started playing in those other markets, it was just, it's a different playing field out there. Things sit for longer. Like, especially now in June, you're in the spring market. If you miss that cusp of right at the beginning where there's so few markets on the properties on the market, you get this influx. And then on top of that, being 45 minutes, being an hour away from Boston, that looks a little bit differently. So that's something we're also experiencing
100%.
now, is our first time not being in like, a 15-minute drive to Boston, where no matter where you are, no matter what your time, if you have a good property, that thing flies off the market.
That's good. What predictions do you guys have for the market and the business right now?
I mean, my boy Powell is not moving any rates today. So he's
my boy. Yeah, taking his good old time.
Yeah, go Powell. He's being a douchebag. I mean, it's hard to say, right? At the end of the day, we all wish we could, but if I had to just kind of give a speculation, I say things will taper off, right? I'm a little nervous for the winter, to be quite honest. I think it might be a long, cold one. It's just a lot more inventory on the market, and I think people are going to start feeling more of those long-term effects of tariffs and everything that's what's coming on, and especially now with the Canadian fires are happening, the cost of lumber and new construction costs might be going up, and affordability has been rising. Even though it says that the consumer price index hasn't been doing it, it's been kind of tapering. I don't know, dude. It's a scary time.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty.
There is a lot. Yeah.
Everything going on in like the political world, I think usually, very much affects real estate movement, and people aren't selling unless they truly need to sell. So it's people that just want to sell, like really just taper off. And so, maybe there is more opportunities in people that need to sell, but the deal flow itself does go down, and people aren't, looking to kind of like make huge life changes when there's other kind of like turmoil going on in the world.
I mean, it best. A confused customer is a customer who's not paying.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And there's so much confusion now that you sometimes, as an investor that's not fully educated or not in the spaces that we're in, they're not getting a lot of that knowledge. They're just confused.
Correct.
Like what's taking place, and a person that's confused doesn't make a decision.
Yeah, that's so true. It's one of those crazy seasons that are in of a lot of there's several people that just can't even afford it anymore. Like money's just in tight situations. And then second, like people are feeling it, right? And then second, There's just, they say that there's, I think 70% of people that could are just sitting on the sidelines, kind of waiting,
Right.
too much fear.
Yeah.
And it's like,
They're
wow.
there's so much fear. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the part that's scary, very scary to us, right? Because you're like, at the end of the day, when you're wholesaling, that end buyer is fulfilling the promise that you made to that seller.
Yes.
So that person needs to be able to execute, and there needs to be enough money in the streets from hard money lenders that can enable those decisions to take place and those transactions to occur.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, if enough people become afraid, it's almost like that self-fulfilling prophecy. That's how recessions happen, right? That's why we can only track it a quarter behind. Because it's like, if people's index go, hey, I'm afraid that we're going into a recession, so I'm going to stop buying things today. That them stop buying things today is going to affect the fact that we go quicker into that recession, because the fear of recession throws us more into a recession than a recession would.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's
like, it's like one of those things where I'm like, oh, I don't know, like, how are people feeling out there? Why are people holding back? And it's like, because they're utterly confused. One day we have a bunch of taxes and tariffs. The next day it goes away. It's like, what?
What's happening? Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah.
Right? Markets are tanking, going down. People with 10% of their 401k in their savings, right? Because that translates directly to what they consider to be their wealth.
Yeah.
Overnight. You're not gonna go and invest and take risks when you lost 10% overnight.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say this. Some of our listings have sat longer than normal, but our last 3 wholesales that we've disposed in the last 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, we've had
nice.
5 today, 5 with 6 offers. For one, did a highest and best. It was the same thing last week. So people are still buying. I just not really sure how that's gonna look in a couple months, I guess.
I like it. How are you guys building out your list, your buyers list?
Yeah, so we basically we have an investor relation agent in our business. And this goal is to obviously add anyone that's ever purchased ever purchased a investment property in Massachusetts under an LLC or a hard money lender. And then he's just taking them down a questionnaire. You know, what are you looking for? Are you still buying? Yes, this, that, or the other.
Calling them.
Cold
call.
Call in, 45 seconds and I can get you on the buyers list. Super straight to the point. Investors like direct. We are going to start
it's like a local meetup.
That is
Nice.
hopefully within this quarter, ideally. So that is, something we are going to be taking on. So that'll be a huge way we're going to be building out the buyers list.
I love it. If you guys had to start over, any recommendations that you would give to somebody listening out there that's kind of following the same journey as you guys?
Pick one path.
Yeah.
Pick one thing and be good at that one thing.
So good.
That's it. Like, don't do the shiny object syndrome. Try to understand, like, when you're going down a rabbit hole of like, okay, yeah, maybe you can make an extra $500 if you stage the property yourself.
Right.
But you've lost 4 days. And how many opportunities did you lose? I think pick one path and just see it through. And I think you'll get way farther than trying to do multiple things and have multiple income streams.
And that's a live example. We had a staging company with that construction company.
Yeah. Come on.
And it's a live example. We went, okay, well, if we're going to flip 12 houses and we're going to pay staging.
And we need to own this.
Yeah, now we need to own the staging. Yeah, we need to own all the tools.
Have a car to drop the staging off. Like, it just keeps going. You can't make money on every single part of it. You've got to just pay the people who are good at what they do and move on and stay in your field. Like,
so good. That's so good. You end up getting a cleaning crew in a minute and then all these other things. Like,
Don't
even know. So many rabbit holes. I'm like, what is going on?
I have half IKEA in my basement.
12 different businesses, and why am I broke? Like, this doesn't even make any sense. Like,
that's good.
I would echo exactly what she said. I think it's all about being super specific and doing one thing really well and allowed. I think one of the best advice I would give is that if you help a lot of people achieve what they want to do, everyone else will help you as well.
So good. Yeah.
Come on, dude. It's like we were just trying to take too much too quick. It's like, we're going to get in there. We were doing the cleaning. We were doing the flipping. And once we had the construction guys, we have to get handymen.
Yeah.
Oh, they come with no tools. We have to go buy all the set of tools.
Yeah, don't do that silliness. Yeah, that's wild.
That's just silliness, you know? You're trying to, you're trying to make sure, you're trying to make it work. It's like,
And now what's cool is like we have these relationships with all this other business owners, right? I have a cleaning company that cleans all of my properties, right? Every time it's, and because I give them so much business, like they'll bend over, but things, they'll make the schedule work. They'll come and clean a property at 6 a.m. if photos are at 9. Like they really make it work for me. And I have all these relationships now of these other people that are going like, junk removal companies and people like my photographers. And it's one of those things, I'm helping them with their business and they're helping me. And now it's just like this super cool, like
right.
amazing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, you're definitely focusing on the relationship capital, right? The relationship capital and feeling really wealthy in that department. It feels good because now you got people that are rooting for you, that are in your corner. You're scratching their back. They're taking care of you. It's like, it's a win-win across the board and good people that are handling their business. So you don't even need to worry about it. That peace of mind, it's priceless, right?
Everyone's specialty. Everyone's staying in their field of knowledge. They're phenomenal cleaning. They're great at junk removal. This guy's great at roofing. Like everyone in their field of knowledge, and I trust them, and they trust me, and it works beautifully.
It works awesome.
That's so good. I love that, guys. That's so cool. So what's the future look like for you guys? The goal this year is to get to 100. You're at 42 right now, 44?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
So it was an ambitious goal for sure. We're just talking about that today of every out of 10 we have.
Yeah.
We're talking about how we are behind every single week, and it's a kick in the nuts every single week.
Yeah.
But we're on the way, and we're trying very hard to get to that goal, and hopefully we hit that at the end of the year.
Yeah.
You guys aren't too far behind. It's good. It's right around the corner. So, and it's about cranking it up over time, right?
Right.
You do 2 in the beginning of the month, like in the beginning of the year, you start cranking up. You're doing 10 before you know, you're doing 20. So you're scaling up. So it's good.
Yeah.
But I'm proud of you guys. I'm excited to hear more about your journey. You guys are crushing it. I love how you guys figured out what wasn't working last year and what is working, and now like you're focusing on that piece of it. And so you're dialing that stuff in, staying laser focused, getting the whole team on deck to do it, and you guys are crushing it. So I'm proud of you guys. I feel like the market in the future, there's so many great opportunities, even if everything goes to hell, right? It's like there's opportunities in those as well. So stay optimistic, be prepared, and get ready to lock this stuff in.
For sure.
100.
For sure.
I love it. Give me a shout out, like how people can get a hold of you guys.
Okay.
Yeah. You can find me on Instagram, Bree Buys Homes.
You can find me on Instagram at Leo Buys Homes. So great.
Super easy.
Yeah.
Super easy.
Honestly, we have not been too like social media friendly. We've been just big grinding it out these last couple of years. So we just kind of revamped our social media. We just hired someone, onboarded them to do social media. So if you follow us, you'll definitely be seeing a lot more of us.
I love it. Yeah, guys, you definitely want to go follow this amazing couple. They're doing some badass stuff, and it's a no-brainer. So go share the love, connect with them, and they're an open book too. Down to earth. They'll be able to, if you reach out, they'll answer any questions that you have. So guys, if you want to get a hold of me, you can always do so on Instagram. It's Brandon Elliott Investments. Otherwise, our business page on Instagram, it's Credit Counsel Elite. So check out Credit Counsel Elite. If you're looking for funding, by the way, if you're looking to learn how to be able to get up to $500,000 with rates as low as 0%. I did not stutter with any of that. All right. Up to $500,000 with rates as low as 0%. We can show you how to get it. Just check out creditcounselelite.com. That's creditcounselelite.com. We have a couple webinars we're doing on a weekly basis, giving you the knowledge, the training. And then we have a 3-day virtual event coming up at the end of this month. You're not going to want to miss out on. So check out the website and we'll be happy to help you out. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. You're messing up. Stop that right now and go subscribe. You'll get the newest notification every Monday when the new episode drops. Leave that 5-star review. Greatly appreciate all the love, all the support. You guys are amazing. Keep it coming. And we'll catch you on the next episode. Till next time, guys, God bless. Guys, appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you.
Take care, bro.
This has been another episode of Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, brought to you by Brandon Elliott. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Also, please don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Thanks again for joining. Until next time, God bless.